Good morning, everybody. It's November 5th, 2025. It's a sunny Wednesday in Colorado. I hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me in my studio for Change the Shed. I've got all kinds of people coming in from all over, which is super fun. And when you set your phone on Do Not Disturb, your mom can still get through. So I'll answer her later. Julia's here from Germany, doing some knitting today. That's great. I asked on YouTube, sometimes early I'll put in the chat on YouTube asking where you're from and what you're working on. And I think I put weaving today, but mostly I mean, what are you making? Minnesota, Lynn, I think. From Minnesota in Florida for the winter. That sounds nice. Winding a warp to weave some towels as Christmas gifts. That actually sounds like a lot of fun. Betsy's here from Kansas City, threading her big floor loom to weave silk scarves for annual guild sale. That's also fun. There's something wonderful about weaving textiles like that. And one of these days I'll go back to doing some myself. Barbara's from San Diego, working on Tapestry Discovery Box 12. Helen's here from Vermont, getting ready to start part 2 of Warp and Weft. Awesome. Thanks for coming. Mary from Virginia. Trying to figure out how to turn my office into a weaving studio. Well, that sounds fun, Mary. Sybil's here from Basel. Color experimenting with churro wool. Awesome. I know where you got some of that churro. Nancy's here from Apache Junction, Arizona, working on her thread project. Hilly's here from the Netherlands. Deborah from Montana. Anne from Maryland, working on Tapestry Discovery Box 12. Laura from Massachusetts, oh my God, she's making eggnog. That sounds amazing, Laura. I wish I could come by and test it, of course. Paula from the UK, playing yarn chicken. We can relate, Paula, for sure. Renee's here from Massachusetts, getting ready to start Tapestry Discovery Box 12. Mary from Cape Cod, working on Tapestry Discovery Box 11. Awesome. Cheryl from Colorado Springs, working on a flamingo. That sounds fun. Lisa from Iowa. Cheryl from Maryland, playing with lines. Carol's here from Lexington. So the Tapestry Discovery Box that's current, that's opened last month. It's November. It opened in October, is about line in Tapestry. And I'm going to carry that over to the January box where we're going to talk more about line in different aspects. So doing both of those boxes is kind of a fun way to dive into making forms in tapestry weaving. So if you're interested in that, you can sign up now until the end of December, and then the box goes away. And for the time being anyway, you can't get it. We're just going to leave it there for now. Jennifer's dressing her museum replica tape loom. That sounds cool. I bought a book about tape weaving or tape looms not long ago that you're reminding me I haven't read it yet, Jennifer. It sounds really neat. Kathy is spinning blue and purple and teal coopworth and a silk blend on her antique CPW. See, you spinners have your own lingo. I just finished teaching a class with Jillian Moreno in Taos about spinning for tapestry. And I have to tell you that every time I do that, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of spinning stuff I still don't know. So it's really fun to do that teaching collaboration where I learn more about spinning. And anyway, it was a lot of fun. Someone's here from Denmark. I'm sorry that... YouTube has changed the way they just put your handle up now instead of your name. But anyway, welcome everybody. So we're going to work on the It's Fine Tapestry again today. I think I will be back the week of Thanksgiving, but I can't 100% guarantee that. I will be teaching in 2 weeks in Taos again. So I won't be able to do this then, but the week after that. Thanksgiving in the United States is the last week of November on Thursday, and so I will see what we can do on Wednesday. the 26th. I think that is November 26th. Maybe we'll do something fun. Maybe we'll work on this. Maybe it will be pre-recorded. I don't know yet, but if you watch my newsletter, I will tell you. Okay. And what else do I have to say? Oh, just a reminder, a few of you have emailed me about this. Every year, I have one sale a year on my online classes. And this year, as always, it is I call it Fiber Monday instead of Cyber Monday because they're online classes. Fiber Monday. And it is December 1st this year. Now, in the United States, there's a big push to economic push not to spend money the week of Thanksgiving when everybody usually goes shopping. So if that is part of your heartfelt response to some of the things that are happening in the United States, I totally support you. And as usual, my sale will last all week. So you can still buy an online class on sale, not on Fiber Monday. All right. Everything will be on sale except the Tapestry Discovery Box that I know of at this point. But all my other classes will be 15% off and Fringeless will be 20% off. So if you've been looking at an online class, that's when you can get it at a discount. Julissa, what a pretty name. No loom work here, but going to Italy to study historic tapestries. Woo! You should tell us all about that. That sounds amazing. Jessica is here from Illinois as well. Okay, y'all, thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me. And it feels dark in here at the moment. I had to put the shade down because the sun has, you know how it does. The earth turns and the sun has come around and it's coming in this window right here. Nobody cares. Sorry. Oh, dumb things. Okay, let's look at this tapestry. So there's my head. Come on. There we go. So I'll put a little thing with my face. I did put up a new Patreon post yesterday where I was weaving the S that you see here. And I will be, regardless of what happens with the Thanksgiving Change the Shed, I'll be putting some more updates on Patreon this month. So if you're a member of Patreon, it's the paying members get behind the scenes stuff to Change the Shed, like the video about how I wove the S. Also behind the scenes stuff from my studio. And those of you at the higher tier get to see me working on my personal tapestries, which I don't necessarily want to share all about, but to the general public. So Patreon is a lot of fun, and I always welcome you. If you want to join, if you have questions, you can always ask me. Okay, so today, I'm going to move this over here. And this is the cartoon. If you're new here, the cartoon is woven sideways, and you can see where the dumpster fire is. And it says it's fine. And I have, think today I'd like to put in a new cloud on the left side. And actually I realized that because this is woven sideways in the picture you're looking at, it's under those green balls of yarn, the cloud I'm going to put in. And then the one that is just that you can see the whole cloud right even with the dumpster is another one we might get to today. So let's look at that. I'm going to turn this on. And so I'm talking about adding this cloud in here, and then this is the one you could see on the edge of the thing. So in the dumpster letters, let's do this first, and then I might add the I for that in that dumpster letter. But let me just give you a better view here. Hopefully. I never feel like it's bright enough. Oh, that helps if I turn my computer brightness up. All right, So here I have to add, this is a border around the whole piece, and I want to add another cloud that comes in here. And starting things on a point can be a real pain in the butt, right? The first thing I want to do is get the shed right. So here's the next shed I'm in. This blue here is going to come this way in this shed, and I'm going to obviously put in another butterfly there. I'm going to put in 2 butterflies, a gray and a white. So I know to keep my sheds correct that this one needs to be working in meet and separate with that one, because you can add and subtract butterflies by 2s. So we're going to do this. You can add and subtract butterflies by 2s without messing up your shed, I should say. I tend to think in my head what I'm thinking and not say all of the words out loud. So, especially if you're in the online classes and something I say doesn't make sense, please ask. Okay, so I have left here in this shed that I just did, there's the one open warp for where the cloud is going to start. And obviously I can't start 2 colors on one warp. I mean, I guess there's some way you could do that, but what I'm going to do is what I've done before. If you've watched, I've probably started a cloud. Yeah, you can't see the other side of this, but I'm going to start with the white and then bring the gray in. So the gray is the sort of shadow of the, we'll use these 2 colors, and they'll be gray along the bottom and white at the top. But to start with, I need the white to be in meet and separate with this side because the gray is going to go under it. So we're just going to put it in so that that will happen. And there we have started our shape on a point. And of course, that warp is down now. One of the things, like in my beginning classes, or like if I teach a foundations workshop, one of the things I always say is wait for the popped up warp. So I didn't do anything with this white on this shed because this warp is down. So now in this shed where I just wove that, it's up. So now I can do, I'm just going to do a warp wrap for several sequences here. I'm using the Eris or Eros shacked tapestry loom with the treadles. That's why you don't see me reaching up to change the shed. Okay. Great. I think we're going to move this white over now in this shed. And so we can add our gray in the next shed, hopefully. Okay, so now in this shed, this white would be going that way, and I need this gray to go the other direction. And we will see if that's correct in the next shed. Welcome, CNR 2426, first time here live. Welcome. This person took the intro class and just started the Discovery Box 12. All fun. It's all fun. Okay, so this will, yep, this is, hold on. See, I was talking and I wasn't paying attention. Okay, I'm gonna leave this for the moment and catch up. Okay. Woo! Do you ever have this? I'm sure you do if you use butterflies. This is a project where I probably could have benefited from some tapestry bobbins, of which I have many. Just kind of lazy about them. All right. Whoops. It's too far. All right, yes, that shed is right. Now, I'm gonna go one more and then we're gonna need to change this up. Hello, Bronwyn from rainy and windy Vancouver. She lives in Vancouver, BC, which is an amazing place. I'm gonna bring this gray over, and I'm gonna bring this over, and then I'm gonna bring that white over right here. We'll see, I think that's gonna work. So far, so good? I think so. It's gonna be, there's a little, dicey there with a couple warp wraps next to each other, but for a short distance, it's all fine. And this one can wrap. So basically the white and the gray are going to be hatching with each other as soon as I get a little bit more space here. This is a small cloud, so it could be a little tricky. All right. And I, of course, I'm also going to need to stitch this edge there. We'll bring that over. This one will wrap around there. Here, and then here, this one popped up so I can bring that white here. So they're just alternating there, the gray and the white a little bit. And I am going to bring this white over there. And up to 4 warps wide. I'm going to need to sew this slit. I really like sewing slits on the loom. If you've taken my classes, you have experienced that. I think it keeps the stability of the fabric. a lot better than when you sew them off the loom, although it is, from what I've seen of French tapestry, they sew the slits after the piece comes off the loom. This is how I was taught, and I like it. It also helps me count sequences, so I know that I'm in the ballpark. Y'all are so quiet today. One, two. Let's bring this gray all the way over there and then back, and then this one will just wrap this one as that work pops up. Great. Carol says she hates sewing slits. I didn't like sewing slits at first either. There is, there are people who are just, things get tangled, like Carol said, and there are people who need other ways of doing it. People who hate sewing slits maybe need to use more interlocks, or maybe you do need to sew the slits off the loom. That's always possible. We all have things that work well for us and things that don't. Sometimes it has to do with materials. We tend to discount that, but the materials you're using could be part of the problem. I don't just mean Carol, I mean in general. Some materials are much easier to work with than others. For whatever reason. Mary, we're mesmerized. That's sweet. And Nancy also. Thanks, you guys. Let's bring that over one more. See, I was duplicating the sequences before. I really want these little clouds to have sort of hatched colors in them, so the clouds have been really fun, actually. One of my favorite parts of this tapestry has been these little clouds. I think that's really true that just keep thinking about what Carol said about hating to sew slits. I think that people develop their own style of work depending on what they can tolerate in terms of the medium and the structure of everything. And I'm sure there are a lot of people who don't use slits because they don't like to sew them. And that is totally fine. I think it's just interesting how our expression as artists can sometimes be guided by materials or other things that we do or don't like. That's fascinating. Humans, they're really something. Yeah, and I've got the camera a little bit more behind me today. I'm trying not to get my head in the thing, but it does, my beading is much more even. Yeah, those of you who do the Tapestry Discovery Box or other online classes, I often note how I'm shooting from the side, and so when you see my hand beading in the videos, it looks weird. Okay, we're almost ready for this other cloud, so let's actually set that one in too. Yeah, I've got a much more direct approach today. There's not a great, I've never found a really great camera position. Unless I'm weaving on a loom that's flat on a table and it's directly overhead, that might be the most honest camera position. But okay, so here, let's look at this. This is this. So this cloud goes all the way to the end of the piece. Oh, you can't see the top of that. But it overlaps here. It's going to overlap between the two, the frame and this is part of the ground, which will be fine. It will work fine. Let's see. I have another blue butterfly. And same thing, I'm going to put in 2 butterflies. So to keep meet and separate, I know that this has to go meet and separate with the other blue. Pigtail that. And I need another white, which I did not get ready ahead of time. Sorry about that. This white is actually Pharaoh. It is a bleached white, and I usually use, the rest of this yarn is Harrisville Kohler Singles, which just comes in undyed, which is sort of a creamy color. And I wanted the bleached white for this. So this yarn is almost the same size as the Kohler Singles. So that's what I'm using for the clouds, because the bleached white makes better clouds. Okay, I'm just making a little butterfly out of this. And just like this other cloud, this one went that way in this shed that is open. And this is going to be the point of this cloud. And so I need it to go that way. Shedding. And I'm going to pigtail it at the start. All right, this is behind, so let's catch up. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right, I think we're caught up right there. That's a good question. Should all the sequences line up next to each other? Theoretically, yes. There will come times where that won't happen, but if you match your sequences, dog hair, yay. If you match your sequences all the way across, not that you have to weave all the way across in a line, but if you match your sequences, the fabric will be much more even if you're using the same material. If your weft materials are all different, then that doesn't hold at all, because some of them, if they're thinner, you'll need more passes with them. So it depends, but in general, if you're using a consistent material, yeah, the relays should match. Okay, now I'm going to bring this cloud back down. I need to sew this. I need to sew that slit. I don't like sewing slits on camera, and so I avoid that, but we'll have to do it. Okay, I'm gonna make this, so this is the top of the little cloud. I'm gonna bring this blue over. I keep pulling these apart because they're coming together a little bit, little weft tension issue. All right. And we should be about ready to add the other gray. Yeah, let's. Oh, I think I got that in there the wrong way. Let's see. Hold on while I think. And that should, oh, that's down. Okay, nope, it's good. We'll add the, is that right? It's not right. Hold on. This would go this way and that would go, yeah, it's just that I'm on a weird, the shedding is weird. Right. This actually doesn't matter because it's a slit that goes all the way up, but this does matter, sort of. So, yeah. I think I had that shed wrong. I was sure it was right, but let's try it the other way. Oh, yes, I did have it wrong because I was thinking about it being in meet and separate with this, but it needs to be in meet and separate with this other one. That explains it. Okay, now we're going to be able to add a gray. Things that your mind does. Yeah, the cloud grows fast. At 8 EPI, weaving can go pretty quickly, especially if it's not too complicated. Okay, this gray is also Faru or Pharaoh, which is that, if you don't know this yarn, I really like it. It's now made by Clip-In. It's made in Scandinavia, Sweden, and it used to be made by Balkans. This one was made by Balkans, but they have are now being made by Clip-In, same yarn. I like this because it's natural. It's the natural colors of the fleece, so it's variegated. It's not a solid gray, and that's what I wanted for these clouds. So sometimes a different material is needed. The only way I could get a yarn that looks like this myself, starting with the natural colored Harrisville Color singles, I couldn't do it. I could spin a yarn like this, but I am not that dedicated when I can buy it. So at least not at this point. Okay, we're going to add that gray in when that one comes out. Got a problem here too. Hold on. This one should have gone under here. I want this to look like a cloud, not a weird thing. Okay. Great. Back to the warp wraps. Okay, now I can put this gray in because this is popped up in this shed. So yeah, that's the mistake I made earlier. And this is a tricky little area here because I've got, that's that shed here. I want this to go, I want the cloud to move over. This blue is going to wrap that down warp. This one's going to wrap this one. Fortunately, if these shapes stayed like this vertically, this would not be a good, this would not be a good thing. But I know they're going to change because the cloud gets wider. So you can sort of fudge it for a little while. It's not fudging, it's just making little shapes. Okay. Now this will go here. Yes. I had to laugh how weaving can go fast. As a newbie, I spent hours doing about a 1/2 inch. Yes, that is very common, especially if you're doing something that's new to you or a little bit complicated, or it's worth it to fuss with it. You learn a lot. Once you're doing something that's more familiar that you've done a lot before, like this, it will be much faster. I promise. It's like anything that we learn. I often have this, I have to tell students, adult students, remember like when you learned to ride a bike or ski or something and you were like 5 and it was like, oh, you fell 3 times and then you had it and you were so good at it? Motor skills. Tapestry involves a lot of motor skills too, but we're old now. So we're older. And so it takes a lot longer to learn something. And we forget that we have to learn it with our hands too. So just trying to encourage people to not give up too quickly, because it can be very frustrating at first, right? But that's because our brains have to learn the concepts and our hands have to learn the motor skills. And it takes time. Okay. Silly little clouds. Okay, I think this blue might be done. Let's cut this off. Yeah, Laura says, it could go faster if I didn't keep having to unweave 2 or 3 times. Yes, that is a thing. I often encourage in online classes, don't necessarily unweave. Sometimes I have people who unweave until their materials just fall apart. I think it's better to just go forward and realize your first tapestries are going to be kind of crappy. And then as you get better, yeah, totally. There's times where you have to unweave. You can't, if you're not happy with something. You've seen me do that on Change the Shed. But sometimes it's not as much of a problem as you think, and you can just leave it. Okay. Well, that little cloud's coming along. That's going to be cute. And we got this one started. So next thing I need to do, see how I procrastinated enough that I don't have to stitch this on camera? I'm going to stitch that up, and it's going to be tricky because there's warp wraps there. But I'll stitch it up the same way and then weave that up. And this little cloud will be done pretty soon. And right in here, let's see what that is. I think that is going to be, this will be ground like this brown. Oh, you can't quite see that. Here. Let's zoom out. So there's the whole thing, and this brown down here will be up here too, I think. So I'm getting farther along. I still am excited about the flames. I keep saying that. Perhaps next time we'll be weaving flames. I don't know how I'm going to do them yet, whether I'm going to use 2 sets or 2 sets for the flames or just, I don't know. Let's see. So the flames, yeah. Anyway, we'll figure that out. Helen, that's a great question. Let's see. I know I missed a couple questions too. Oh, that's a good question, Lynn. Does the fiber you're using come with the 3 threads together and you unwind, or does it come as 1 thread and you put the 3 together? Great question. So this is the faro, but it's the same for, this is the Harrisville Color Singles that I dye. It's just 1 strand, and I want it that way because I can mix. For example, in some of the ground, I'm mixing these 2 colors. So I have 1 strand of this redder one and 2 strands of this. And if I'm mixing them as I go, I have the option to change the color like that. Whereas if Pattern AN would be an example. It's now called Colonial Persian. It's an embroidery yarn that people use, and it comes with 3 loosely plied strands that you can pull apart and then rebundle. So that would be an example of something that comes like that. But for the most part, a tapestry yarn will be thinner strands that you blend together in the weft bundle. That is a great question. Thanks, Laura. That's really nice. The best violinist in the world spent a very long time making nothing but horrible noise. Just remember that, especially all you parents who have children who play instruments like the violin or the oboe or the saxophone. Some of those can be pretty bad when you're a newbie, but those kids get better, right? And eventually some of them are the best violinist in the world. Helen asked, why don't I like to stitch on camera? That's a good question, Helen. I don't know. In this case, I knew I was going to be stitching a 1 warp wrap, and that is just a little bit trickier. I feel like you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I stitched that other side, and you probably did see it exactly. So I also, in my head, I'm like, oh, this is boring. Nobody wants to see me do this, but that might not be true. Anyway, I hope that y'all have a great November. I will be, in 2 weeks I'll be teaching, so I won't be here, but I will be back the week of Thanksgiving in the United States, which is the last week of November. I will either have something recorded or a good chance we're going to do a live Change the Shed, probably on Wednesday, which is the day before Thanksgiving here. But if that changes, I'll let you know. You can follow my newsletter for updates on that, or I have a calendar page right on my website, tapestryweaving.com. Look under online learning. There's a calendar that will tell you when the next thing is, or YouTube will tell you too. All right, you all. Thank you so much for coming. It's been a lot of fun. This piece is roaring along. Hoping to get up to the end. It would be really nice to get this done by the end of the year, but you know that, who knows? Probably won't happen. Have a good one, you guys. I'll see you soon. Catch me on Patreon if you want updates in the meantime. Otherwise, have a great November. Bye-bye.